All right, well, welcome back to Saturday Stories, Hope Family. Today we are focusing on Sean Arnold and his story. We'll just get right into it, and I guess the first question I have for you, Sean, is how did your story with hope start out?
My story started in 2015. It was the first time I came to Hope. I was fairly new into a divorce that, was kind of taking its toll on me, kind of feeling lost and broken and not really knowing what the next season of my life was going to look like. We have a mutual friend that's a churchgoer here, Bob Rittenhouse Jr., and he just kind of took me under his wing and relentlessly kind of pursued and encouraged me to come check out his church. And after a couple months of telling him, I will next week, he finally said, you know what, you tell me that every week, I'm gonna stop asking. You'll find God wherever you're at. That next day, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go. Bob met me there, introduced me to Danny, and Bob knew I was going through a rough divorce, and Danny's teaching that morning was on the wonders of marriage as it pertains to his life and the Bible, which is kind of ironic for what I was going through. After Danny's teaching, Bob brought me back up to him and said, I forgot to tell you that this guy's going through a rough divorce right now, man, and wrong day to bring him. But the most touching thing about Hope I've found was that first day. Danny looked at me without knowing the guy, and he said, man, if I would have known that, I would have changed my whole teaching for you. And I looked at the sincerity in his face. There was just something about the guy, and, now looking at it, I take it back to the whole leaving the 99 for the one. Danny just recognized me, I think, as being hurt and broken in the moment, and he would have done that. Then Bob took me out on the back patio, introduced me to Joe Gruber, and we connected, immediately. And then next thing I know, every week I had this Joe Gruber dude just blowing up my phone constantly. I want to connect with you. I want to get to know you. I want to bring you in, So I got to know Joe a little bit better. He reached out to me and invited me to come get baptized at Paddle Out in 2016.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I took part in that, which has been wonderful because as I've grown with my faith and grown in the church, Danny's asked me to help others baptize before, which I did this past year, which, was an amazing experience for me. My story of coming to Hope is just one through just kind of being broken and lost for a moment, which happens to a lot of us. Joe Gruber, I'd seen a video of Joe Gruber's that really hit home for me, and he said, God doesn't promise you a trouble-free life, but he does promise to get you through the troubles. Since then, I've been able to get to know Danny and Joe both really well. Yeah. They're like family to me, the community there, everything.
Next question, maybe you touched on this a little bit, but what are some of your favorite things about the Hope community specifically?
My favorite thing about the Hope community is the people. My favorite thing is, it's not the pancakes, it's not the donuts. It's my favorite thing about Hope is just the people, being able to see them every Sunday.
And having said that, what roles do you play? What roles do you play at Hope Church?
I started learning that I really had a heart to serve. We all preach the gospel in our own way. The best way I know how to preach the gospel is by serving others within not just my community outside, but my community within the church. That led, now that Joe's gone, I've become setup leader, take care of everything that has to do with setting up the church for everybody on Sunday, kind of help the other captains with some things, so I have my fingers, kind of in everything that goes on in the morning at Hope. We're all one family there.
So, having said all that, how has COVID-19, affected you, how it's affected the church? What are potentially some ways to help out with that?
COVID-19 has affected me. I have a loved one My ex-wife is a nurse over at Good Samaritan Hospital, and through this, her being a medical worker, I've learned that I've just had some worries and anxieties that I didn't know exist. I'm worried because I've got 2 grown daughters whose mother enters the hot zone every day. Worries for my daughters. One of them's isolated herself down south right now in school, so I don't get to see her every day. So I have that worry. I like big community, and coming in like you and I last week on Sunday, coming into that empty auditorium, trying to be as intimate as we can for the camera and show everybody that we're still here. That's breaking my heart.
Right.
You know, we're a family, and right now people aren't able to come to their sanctuary on Sunday right now and find peace and, you know, find support and worship, you know, our Father. That breaks my heart. I want to see us all back there very soon.
Right.
You know, can't wait to see everybody, hug everybody that I know, that I don't know. You know, I just can't wait for us all to be able to get back on Sunday and do what we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know what? To turn this into a public service announcement for a minute, I was rummaging through downstairs the other day at church, came across a box of the N95 masks that they so desperately need in the hospitals right now. And, you know, we excitedly took them over to Dominican Hospital to try to donate them. And we're at home right now. We're all kind of staying at home, sheltering in place. Maybe we wore latex or vinyl gloves when we mow the lawn or do whatever we do around the house. While we're at home right now, take a moment to look for those things. They desperately need those right now in the hospitals, and it'd be wonderful to be able to collect those things as a group and donate them. If you do come across any of those items that could be donated and you don't feel comfortable taking them yourself, you can always contact me. My number is 831-435-9302. I'd be glad to come pick them up for you, collect them as a group, and maybe get back over to the hospital and donate them in Hope's name with Danny. Take a moment and look for those things. Lastly, you know, if I could add, maybe solicit some prayer for our church leaders right now. They're worried for us, and I know daily they're all praying for us. They're trying very hard to be for us. You know, they're our shepherds as we're their flock, and they're trying very hard right now to be that light for us through the dark, and when they're dealing with the dark as well. You know, it'd be great if we could lift those guys up right now. Be great to see the comment section below blown up with some good words for those guys that lead our church. You know, throw one out to Danny, throw one out to Chris Matley, to Joe Gruber, to Adam Burke. You know, just let them know that you recognize that they're here for us, but we're here for them right now.
Absolutely.
So
appreciate that.
Yeah.
With that being said, if you guys want to leave some comments down below, some encouragements for our pastors. Sean, thanks for sharing your story with us. And
thank you.
Just want to leave you guys with 2 Timothy 1:7. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. We just want to speak that over all of you and speak it over each other as well. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, thank you guys.
That is our Saturday story for this week, guys. We thank you and we love you. See you later.
Hope to see you soon.